Let's face it, as men, the dating scene is completely stacked against us, especially today. We're taught to chase, to prove our worth, to romance her and treat her like a princess. But when the girl we like stops texting back, or worse, ghosts us altogether, we're stuck wondering, what the hell did we do wrong? And you may even find yourself tempted to send her another text, something like, hey, did I do something wrong? Or hey, are you mad at me? So before you send her another text, I need you to watch this video because there are 3 main reasons why women stop texting guys back, and it's usually a lot simpler than you think. So let's get right into it. The first reason, the texts that you send have not made it easy for her to respond. For example, how many times have you ever sent a girl something like, hey, or what's up, or how are you doing? Those texts, they're so boring that it's almost like it doesn't necessarily entice a response, and it's also hard for her to respond. When you see someone you know out in public, you might say, hey, how are you doing? What is their automatic response? Every single time, I'm doing fine. How about yourself? How many times have you actually been stressed or anxious about something, but you still responded with, I'm doing fine? And the reason why this is because those are stock responses that we've trained ourselves to respond with in public, in small talk. And here's a secret that everybody's too afraid to talk about. Nobody likes small talk. It's boring, it's forced, and it's usually done with people that you have no emotional attachment to. So when you text a girl something like, hey, or what's up? Yeah, it's very hard for her to respond because it's a lot more effort for her to sit there and think, do I want to give this guy a stock response or a genuine response? And if I wanted to give him a genuine response, like if I actually liked this guy, then what would I say? Would I tell him my day's going great when it's not? Or would I tell him something off the wall? And because she has to go through all these mental hoops just to figure out how to respond to you, usually the easiest thing is for her to just put her phone back in her purse or wherever women keep their phones and just not respond altogether. And especially when you consider the fact that if she's a quality looking girl, if she's even somewhat cute, she's gonna naturally have guys that are hitting her up. I remember back in the day, I was friends with this coworker who objectively was not very attractive. And this is when Tinder started to get really big, and she downloaded Tinder, and literally every guy she swiped on while I was sitting there watching her set up her Tinder account matched with her. And these were good looking dudes, and she was objectively not a very attractive girl. Now, if that situation doesn't tell you that women, especially in today's social media app-driven world, don't naturally live in a state of abundance, then I don't know what will. So at the end of the day, if you're making it hard for her to respond, if your text to her seemed like it would lead to a boring conversation, usually the easiest thing for her to do is not respond altogether, especially when there are so many other guys hitting her up that are probably going to make it a lot easier for her to respond and are also going to make the conversations a lot more fun to participate in. Which brings me to reason number 2, which is you text her too damn much. At the end of the day, if you're romantically or sexually interested in a girl and you want to meet up with her, you want to date her, you want to sleep with her, then you got to understand that you need to make that the actual point of you texting her. Think back to when you get a girl's phone number in the first place. If you got it from an online dating app, well, you got her phone number as a step closer to meeting up with her in person, right? Well, if you're in person and you got her phone number, then understand there was probably a reason why you got her phone number. And if you're watching this video, I'm assuming that reason means that you wanted to date her at some point in time, meaning that you got her phone number for the sole reason to set up the logistics to see her again in the near future. Too many guys confuse the actual intention of getting a girl's phone number, and they think the phone number is the end game. The phone number is the means to an end. It is not the end game, meaning that if you're sitting there all day texting her, having small talk conversations, having long drawn out connection-based conversations, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Because at the end of the day, if this girl hasn't yet started dating you and she's not yet your girlfriend, yet you're texting her all damn day, every single day, hey, good morning, beautiful, or you just talk about the fucking weather and the birds and the bees, then understand you are using texting as a way to build a connection. And because you're doing that over text and she's able to get that emotional connection with you just by pressing a few buttons on her phone, that takes away the desire to build that connection in person. So the solution here early on in the dating process, don't view texting as a way to build a connection with a girl. Save that for in person. When you text her, you should be doing it as a way to see what she's doing in the near future, either tonight or later this week. And you should be extending invites to meet up with you in person and go do some fun activity that you guys can do together. That way, when you are in person, you can explore sexual chemistry and you can build that connection and see if we want to potentially date each other moving forward. If this is making sense to you so far, hit that thumbs up button down below. It's free and it definitely helps this channel female grow, which brings me to the third and biggest reason why women are not texting you back. And that is she's simply not that into you. Like, listen, man, if you're doing all the right things over text and you're texting her objectively things that are kind of interesting to talk about and you're still not getting responded to, or she always has some reason why she can't see you in person, then she's just not that into you. Because at the end of the day, no matter how hot she is, if she is into you, she will bend over backwards just to see you in person. Because if a girl likes a guy, she wants to see him. She wants to hang out with him. Just like if you like a girl, you want to see her and you want to hang out with her. So if a girl always has a reason why, you need to be able to recognize, is her reason an actual objection, or is it more something that would make it just inconvenient to see you in person? If it's inconvenience, then that means you're not a high enough priority for her in her life, which means that she's just not that into you. And the solution here is to understand, what was the interaction like with her before I got her phone number? Was it after a long 3-hour conversation where we both were flirting with each other? Or was she a random girl I approached and I got her phone number after 30 seconds of awkwardly talking to her, and then I awkwardly asked her for her phone number? That situation is vastly different than a girl that you had a lot of chemistry with. If you have a lot of chemistry with her and she's attracted to you, you guys are flirting back and forth, and then you get her phone number, she's a lot more likely to respond and actually see you at a later date because she was genuinely already into you. But if you randomly get a girl's phone number after a 30-second awkward conversation and you nervously ask her for her phone number, then what reason would she have to want to actually see you again? So the strength of your interaction and your conversation before you got her phone number is going to dictate how likely she is to not only respond to you, but want to see you again in the near future. Now, you may be sitting there wondering to yourself, okay, Patrick, I see where you're coming from on all three of those points that you just made, but at the end of the day, I'm not a good looking guy. I don't have a lot of money. I'm not super jacked. Aren't girls that are that hot only into guys who are super jacked, good looking, and have a lot of money? And if you find yourself wondering that, then I need you to watch this video right here, because in this video, I'm going to show you the number one thing that any guy can do to make any girl attracted to him in conversation, regardless of your bank account or how you look. So check out that video and I'll see you there.